Yo, what's going on everyone? It's me, Mr. Premps, and what can I say? One Piece manga chapter 1004 delivers again. Now I know a lot of people are missing Rooftop because the recent chapters we've been getting on the Rooftop have been amazing. But honestly, this chapter didn't let me down either. I found the chapter really insightful, building on some of the underlying story raised in chapter 1003, so shout out to Oda again. Now the chapter is called Kibidango, and to anyone who knows anything about Wano, just knew that Tama was going to be involved in this chapter. And that's exactly what we got, because the chapter starts off with a flashback. And it's a flashback of Tama, speaking to Speed or Horselina, whatever you'd like to call her, and Tama's expressing her desire to go to Onigashima, however no one would let her. Which I think was really good by Oda in order to fill in the blanks, because one of the questions we all had was how Tama got to Onigashima, because at the time it felt like she just randomly appeared to save Usopp and Nami, and so now we've got that background that Speed was the one that brought her there. It makes far more sense. Now whilst we're showing the flashback, we see that Tama is on the ship. She's using her powers to create multiple amounts of dango, and that's when it clicked that she was making this dango to feed to other Smile users in order to turn them into allies too. We then go on to hear a little speech from Tama, which if you look at in isolation is honestly so sad. She talks about wanting to live in a Wano, free of Orochi and Kaido, where Momonosuke is the shogun. She tells Speed how she's effectively sick and tired of being hungry, and that she should be able to eat rice too. And then we go on to find out that Speed's been helping her, turning some of the other gifters into allies. The chapter then pans away and we go on to see what's happening with Frranky and Sasuke, and it seems it's been a good battle so far. I mentioned in my prediction video how much I really rate Frranky, as he does have some of the most amazing moments, and he's probably a bit stronger than most people think. But moving on, we see that Sasuke is charging towards him, and he's charging towards him in his zone form. Frranky grabs him by the horn and basically flips him into the wall. But the numbers aren't in Franky's favour, as a bunch of the gifters are holding Frranky down, as Sasuke gets up and begins charging in on Frranky. And to be honest, we get a really funny moment here, as one of the gifters starts hyping himself up. And he's like, "We ain't no foot soldiers, we're gifters. We got given abilities." And for me, it's hilarious, because in the grand scheme of things, they're trash. But as Sasuke closes in on Frranky, out of nowhere comes Usopp, Nami and Otama, riding on Komachio, and it appears that they're being chased down by a group of gifters as they're screaming for help. Now with Sasuke realising this, he re-emphasises something that CP0 said last chapter, and it's the fact that the Beast Pirates have far superior numbers, and that every battle that happens there on Onigashima will be exactly like this, where their numbers will overwhelm them. But little did he know, because Tama explains that she's there to even the odds, as she commands all of the gifters to support Frranky. And I mean, at this point, Sasuke is confused. He has no idea about Tama's power. And following in close behind, we have Page 1 and Ulti, who are referring to them all as traitors, as they too have no idea about Tama's powers. But it appears that they're not done with Nami and Usopp, because Ulti goes to headbutt Nami, and Nami uses an attack called Thunder Lance, but acknowledges that this won't keep her down for long, meaning that Nami knows its strength and probably knows it's not enough to keep her down, but she must have something saved in the tank that's maybe a little bit stronger than this, or a lot more stronger than this. However, let's not give all the credits to Nami, because Usopp is out there doing his thing too, as he begins shooting dango into all of the gifters' mouths and ultimately making them Tama's pets. And once again, with Sasuke confused, Frranky whips out a sword, which I'm not sure if it's a lightsaber or what, but it's confirmed that Frranky is a swordsman, because he hits Sasuke with a victory flash attack. And honestly, I mentioned, Frranky has been so impressive and he's so underrated. And right now, it could be Frranky for the world's strongest swordsman. We then pan away to the third floor, where we have Sanji and Black Maria. And the positive news is that Sanji has beat up all the men. And the negative news is that he's tied up because he hasn't laid a hand on Black Maria. And I don't really want to cover this because yes, it's disappointing, but I guess we all knew that Sanji wouldn't touch her because he doesn't hit females. However, what's more interesting here is that she asked Sanji to call Robin there, and it appears that there's this female there with a sheet of paper over her face that's got an eye on it, and she explains to Sanji that if he talks right into her face, his voice will be projected for all to hear. He's told to call out to Nico Robin as their job is to capture her, and it's a command directly from Kaido. And this is when again it clicked for me, because we saw Black Maria chilling with Kaido in the earlier chapters. Now I did think she was part of CP0, and that still could be a thing. However, evidently he's made it their task to capture her, and it's to do with reading the poneglyphs, and in some aspect I really like this, because I feel as if Robin's use has been severely underrated, and this is being used to show her importance. And it's at this moment where Sanji says that they shouldn't underestimate Robin. And even though I know what Oda was going for here, I don't think it was as impactful as it should have been. But moving on swiftly, the girl with the sheet of paper and eye on her face seems to have another power too, where she can see things that are going on around Onigashima. And I'm not sure exactly how it works, but we get a view of what she sees. She then communicates to King that she's found the scabbards, who are all still breathing, to King's shock. King then orders that someone goes to finish them off, which actually shocks Sanji, who can't believe that they've been defeated already. But the most interesting thing here is that the female that appears to see them mentions that there's 10 of them, which I think doesn't add up, as Kanjuro was a traitor and so he wasn't with them in the first place. But then she does go on to mention that it's dark and she can't see clearly, but someone's there, helping them, helping the samurai, and we get a silhouette of a figure which appears to be a female with a tear falling from her face, and that brings the chapter to an end. And we have a break next week. And for me, it was a very solid chapter, but with it being 2 weeks until the next chapter is out, it's going to be so tough on the TL, because the Sanji hate is going to be the focus, along with who everyone thinks this silhouette is. My first thoughts were Hiyori, but then I started seeing comments about Toki and other people, and now I have no idea who it is. But let me know your thoughts. Another thing I really want to point out here is that number 10. I think that translation might change in the official, simply because that whole Kanjuro thing that should have took the scabbards down to 8, and now we're being told that there's 10 people there. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on when the official comes out. Now tell me, what did you think of the chapter? Who do you think this silhouette is? And I continue to remind you all to support the official release on Sunday, because that's where we're going to get the true meaning of the dialogue in the chapter. But as always, if you like anything I've had to say, please make sure you leave a like on the video, and if you like seeing weekly chapter reviews just like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss out when I drop more content just like this. Save.